Well, hello, y'all. Welcome to another lovely episode of the Amazing Race European Adventure Extravaganza, whatever the hell subtitle they want to put on this, here at the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea into reality, and where you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. My name is Jack. I am the resident game designer of the panel, and I'm actually the one who designed the Big Bird knockoff for today. But as I said, I'm not that great at arts and crafts, so you can tell, unfortunately, it is a knockoff.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Mike, brought to you by Expedia, your buff bodybuilding correspondent down in Dallas, Texas, brought to you by Expedia. I put the him and himbo, brought to you by Expedia, and the gay and video gamer, brought to you by Expedia. And did I mention I was brought to you by Expedia?
I'm surprised Expedia is still doing Pride.
You know what? They're just about the last corporation doing it. So, we'll take whatever we can get. We were memeing a couple years ago, but you know what? I kind of wish we had corporate pride to meme about still. So.
Yeah, we didn't realize how good we had it until it disappeared, and we went, yeah, it was bad, but like, it was there.
I would rather joke about it being there than not, so...
But we do have a lovely little Amazing Race episode to go through. This time, dead center of Bucharest, Romania, where the teams are going on, as Mike has already mentioned, a lovely Expedia-based adventure, which really means a bunch of random tasks they can throw at them as quickly as possible that kind of all relate to Bucharest, but, sure, why not? But before we get into all that, I have just a couple things to go through on my end. So first, if you enjoy this kind of reality TV recap content, you can feel free to follow us here. We cover everything from Survivor and The Amazing Race to one-off shows such as The Snake, Guts and Glory, to international competitions such as... we were covering it at one point, BBUK, Survivor Australia, Traders. We try and cover everything, so please feel free to give us some love around here if you enjoy all of that. If you are much more of a fan of either Drag Race or the Eurovision Song Contest, you can check the description below for that lovely link. It'll bring you right to our other channels where we have all of that, along with our lovely little audio podcast links where you can listen to us on the go on any major streaming service. And you can also find your lovely cup mug there. You can find it either in the link below or the QR code directly above Mike's head. Scan that. You can find mugs and, more recently, water bottles, which I think I might have to get my hands on.
They look great. I saw one with Anissa had one, and I was like, ooh, I'm jealous. I'm getting one. Y'all should too.
And finally, if you enjoy the lovely little ramblings we're about to go on, you can follow us here at the Cup Pod. You can also follow myself or Mike at the handles below. Feel free to drop us some love. If you like talking about reality TV content, feel free to hit us up on Instagram at that same link. We'd love to hear from you and maybe bring you on ourselves.
Yes.
But with that said, Mike, are you ready to go for a lovely Expedia experience around Bucharest, Romania?
I mean, as long as I don't have to look the chicken in the eyes, then I will be A-okay.
You don't look the chicken in the eyes. The chicken looks directly into your soul. So hopefully that won't be the problem.
Halloween's already over. We can't be this spooky.
Well, we start this leg by departing from Carroll Park. We start with Tucker and Eric at 9:17 in the morning, and then Jas and Jag, and then basically everyone else files in right around the same time. All of them around 10:30, 10:40, Jas and Jag are around 940, and Tucker and Eric are 915. So, I mean, a pretty good spread for the start of this leg.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, I think we'll get to it, but I think this might be the first time that we see the top two teams maybe struggle a little bit in these tasks that they've been given along this leg. We'll get to it. I'm actually happy to see it. I'm happy to see a little bit of struggle because it was getting a little monotonous, but yeah, we'll get this race started.
Yes, so going into this lovely leg, we do have 2 express passes expiring, meaning Jas and Jag and Taylor and Kylan will 100% be using their things here. We'll see what they end up doing with them, but we head to our first location, the Bucharest Herăstrău Park, where they find the first roadblock, which is extremely descriptive of who's ready for an Expedia experience. And just to be clear, if the Expedia experience is seeing a giant chicken and running around a field trying to find eggs and then pushing a larger egg, I have several questions.
What in the analog horror is this, finding this creepy giant chicken in the park and there are eggs? He's forcing you to get these eggs and having to push giant eggs around, this fever dream of an experience. Expedia, why are you putting your name on this specific roadblock? I was baffled. I was like, I have the Expedia app and I use it. I don't know. I'm a little worried now to continue using it if this is the branded experience that they're putting forward to potential customers. So this was crazy. I loved it, but this is wild.
Yeah, no, this is potentially up there with one of the weirdest tasks the Amazing Race has ever done. So giant eggs, find the egg. Find the small egg that looks like the big egg and present it to the chicken. And this is a full needle in a haystack. There are tons of eggs, but also you're in semi-tall grass where the eggs can be hidden in the grass. And you also have to match a pattern which is extremely intricate. So, this is a nightmare scenario for me in terms of having to find super precise details.
I will say that is the hardest part, is looking. These eggs are just so tiny out in the park, and there's a lot of foliage and there's a lot of brush all over the eggs, so they're kind of hard to find. But I will say, I'm going to knock some of the teams because they were bringing back eggs that looked nothing like this giant egg that they are pushing towards the chicken. And I'm like, why can y'all not stop at any point and be like, let me look at, it's right here. Like, do these match? No, I'm just going to push this giant egg and just hope for the best. Like, no, you have the answer in your hand, whether or not it's correct. And a lot of times, like, I saw it like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, why are you bringing wrong answers up? I don't understand. That was wild to me. That was wild.
I will say, of all things, this is a very funny task to throw at them because it honestly reminded me of OTEV. Like, this is a very OTEV branded competition. And I mean, teams were struggling with this.
And it's right down to like the zany animal character that's emceeing the entire ordeal.
It genuinely is such a, one of our tasks fell through, and we can go contact the mascot shop from like a little bit that way and just like make some egg molds really quick. Will that work? Oh, okay, that works. Cool. Give us 30 minutes. But
and it seems like, when I got the chicken and I put it in the car, the neck kind of bent, and I bent the neck puppeteering, so its neck's kind of like it's like over to one side. The neck never was like straightened up. It was just like
it was just like ever so slightly off.
Like, I'm like, that chicken ain't right. Like, I'm not. Catch me in a dark alley. I am running the opposite way. I'm booking it.
And you don't even have to worry about running because that chicken had about the energy of something that was already asleep. It was like, here's your clue.
It would just be like,
No,
it would be
no.
like a small little like wave. I was like, this guy.
He is not getting paid enough to be here. He thought he was at a more high-profile event, but he's just watching adults frolic in a field.
Well, he was like out with the buddies, like having a drink last night really late. And that's when he got the text from his boss that, like, hey, we need you for a gig tomorrow. And he's like, oh, crap. I am like 3-4 shots in here. This is not going to go well.
Yeah. So, I mean, we see obviously Tucker and Eric and Jas and Jag are in the front of the pack. Tucker and Eric have about a 30-minute lead on Jas and Jag. So Eric goes out into the field and starts searching and realizes how hard this is going to be real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Jas and Jag just kind of pull up, go, oh, it's a needle in a haystack? Let me pull out our express pass and just, can we leave? Thank you.
Honestly, I think this was a great decision on their part because they could have done it in 2 minutes. They could have done it in 20 minutes. Like, there's really, it's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot, and you don't want that randomness. They're like, if we're gonna lose, it's because our skill was like below what it needed to be. Not we just didn't happen to stumble across the egg in this forest that we needed to find. So I am behind them choosing to express pass this. I think that Kylan and Taylor probably should have express passed as well.
I agree with you. This is just, especially, I mean, they even say it in the episode, as more teams complete this task, there's naturally going to be less and less right answers, meaning this task only gets incrementally harder. So I would have looked at it as Taylor and Kylan go, a third of the eggs that we need to get are already gone. Let's just leave. Like, there's no point in us being here right now.
Yeah. And I think we saw with the last team that was there, that was really the big impediment for Joseph and Adam in that last part there, is just that if we're to assume that there's only 6 correct eggs out there, as more teams pass you, it becomes exponentially harder for the teams that are left to find the correct ones, because it's just a field of wrong answers and then 2, because there was an express pass, 2 correct answers out there.
But yeah, no, just genuinely, I mean, on one hand, really easy detour in terms of a really easy roadblock in terms of like, hey, I don't know what I can do moving forward. And we see that with Adam of like, hey, Adam's diabetes sometimes causes problems. This is an easy roadblock for him to take just to fill a number. And I think that's what this is really good for. But at the same time, it is brutal. So,
yeah, I felt really bad for Adam in this episode, and I wrote it a couple of times. His diabetes becomes a central concern in this episode. I really felt for him. We'll get to it when it really flares up, but I was really worried for Adam in this leg. He really was a troop. He was really a trooper this episode.
Yeah, no, Adam, God, we'll get to it, but like, Jesus Christ, I was like, okay, are we going to have an actual medical emergency this episode? Well, I thought that's what I was leading towards.
When he finally turned in his egg, there was already exhaustion on his face. I was like, I'm sure that, they're spiking his blood sugar in some way between areas, but like, I'm like, that's really not enough. You need to like sit down and you need to kind of just be calm and not do any sort of physical activity. And that's not the Amazing Race. The Amazing Race is constant movement.
Especially when, I mean, the only place you could really do that was the roadblock, and small problem, he's doing it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, we see Jack and Chelsea. Chelsea gets it done relatively quickly after arriving fifth. We see Kyland and Izzy get it done relatively fast, leaving Adam behind for a little bit until they eventually find it. We have essentially a foot race between Tucker and Eric and Jas and Jag to the next location, which is on a postcard, the Palace of the Parliament, where we find out our lovely detours for the leg. So our detours are either find the beat. Teams have to perform a Romanian folk dance to receive their next clue, or hit the note. Teams have to first assemble a beginner's pan flute, and then play a tune on it correctly to receive their next clue.
And do I have to? I have to point out, like, I am so happy we're getting artsy detours on this leg. This entire amazing race season has just been physical, 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 physical. Very few art related detours. I'm glad that we had one where it's like you are now forced to do an art related detour. Of course, you could do some. The dancing is a little bit more physical, but it's still an art. And so, if you don't have that sort of creative craft inside you, you'll have a bit more of a struggle because it's more expressive. It's a more expressive skill. So I'm glad that we had this because it showed in the top two teams that they had a little bit of an issue getting through these artsy detours, and it gave other teams that chance to jump forward like that because they're much better at these types of tasks.
Yeah, I mean, a pan flute detour. Interesting. That may or may not assign to someone's literal job. Which I will say, Izzy and Paige were like, I don't know what we can pray to, but like we need some arty detours in this. Like, if we can get like music or something, and then full on just like silver platter.
Here's
Here
the
you go.
flute. Hey, flautist, here's the flute.
Just so good. And I
Yeah.
mean, I know Izzy's face immediately just went like, so
As soon as
we're
they
doing the flutes.
As soon as they said that on the subway, I think it was, I was like, oh my God, there's a music detour in this leg. I just knew it. I knew that that's what they were setting up, and I was here for it because I think Izzy and Paige, this is really like, I think they're the VIPs of this episode because they had such a great leg this episode.
Yeah, I mean, they killed this entire leg, and honestly, the only reason they weren't faster than what we eventually see to them is two teams in front of them had an hour-ish head start, and two teams in front of them got to skip one of the tasks. If those factors weren't there, they're easily first and or second for this leg. Like, hands down.
100% agree. I think at the very least they would have been third. I think they would have passed up Kyland and Taylor because they were right next to them, leaving the egg hunt. And yeah, they just killed this leg. And if it wasn't for the express passes having to be used in this leg, I think they'd be third or second right now.
So, just to go through the names really quick, we have Jas and Jag, Joseph and Adam, and Kyland and Taylor choosing to find the beat. And we have Izzy and Paige, Jack and Chelsea, and Tucker and Eric learning to hit the note. So, at least on your end.
Kyland and Taylor theoretically chose find the beat.
They chose find the beat, but what they actually chose was the detour that was physically closer to them because they knew, you know what, this could be the end of the leg right here. We're just going to burn this immediately. We're not going to even worry about it.
I mean, I think that's fair. Could they possibly use this on the Michi later on?
I assume they could have. I assume it's simply get out of any task for free.
Mhm.
But I would have said it was a significant waste against the other two. Like
Oh yeah.
the Michi was it was so much simpler than everything else in terms of like actual skill ceiling. Well, skill floor to just learn it.
Yeah, I think so, but I mean, we'll get into it. I think the judging standards of the guy at the Michi like went from very, very high standards to like, that's fine. We'll get to it though, because
Yeah.
I feel like the judging of the skill in these tasks. I know it happens every episode, every season, but the level of standard that wanting from the contestants dropped significantly on subsequent tries from these contestants.
They're 100% told to do that. Like, look, if a contestant comes to you like 3, 4, 5 times, as long as they're actually doing it well at that point, just pass them.
Yeah,
If it's not super obvious, no one will catch it.
yeah. I think I caught a couple of them, and I will call them out as we go through the tasks. Whichever one you want to go through.
So, I mean, we'll just start with Tucker and Eric kind of very quickly. I mean, with them, they're always going to assemble things very quickly. We've seen that multiple times throughout the race.
They're very handy.
We have apparently found one of Tucker's only weaknesses, and that is successfully playing a pan flute.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised one of them didn't pull out of their ass. So yeah, my father used to actually be in a band, and he played the pan flute. Like, I'm really surprised it just didn't come up because they seem to know everything.
Yeah, pan flute was my hobby in college. And yeah, no, I was surprised on this one. I think this was a common issue. We saw it with Jack as well. People who were not able to get like the fundamentals of the pan flute. You want to blow the air. He said it weird when he was explaining it to them, but you want to blow it across the thing. You don't want to blow
Mhm.
into it. And too many of them were wanting to blow air into it, and you can hear the air and the spit go through the tube. That's not you want to blow across it. And I think that's what Tucker and Jack were having an issue with in this episode.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is just something that, like, realistically, it seems so much easier than it actually is to have that consistent breath control.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was in
But
band, so I mean, this would have been like up my alley anyway. So I'm being biased and me being like, oh, this is so simple. But for someone who has never had any music class or had a very rudimentary, like elementary school level, like music class, this would be a bit harder.
yeah, I mean, I played the drums for a little bit. Well, percussion, just generally in like middle school. And then now it's like, okay, I can play rhythm games semi decently, but that's with these, not with this.
Yeah.
So, at least on my end, once I read it, I would have been like, as much as I may not be that great, I think I might want to go for Find the Beat here. Just
Yeah.
because I think the footwork might be easier.
And I think like it sounds like you have like a good rhythm. You have a really good rhythm, and I think that's where hit the beat is. Hit the note is more like it. They didn't really have that different of like note types, like note length types. So I don't think a
Mhm.
beat was necessarily that important. Much more so being able to play the instrument properly.
Yeah, which so much it looks so much easier than it actually is. But
Yes.
I mean, we kind of see Tucker and Eric and Jess and Jag both kind of like leave the detour at the same time. It's not really clear who leaves first. They both struggle with it for a bit, but they
Mhm.
never get caught by anyone. So,
Yeah, I will say when Jas and Jag got passed on the find the beat, I was a bit. I wrote in my thing. I was like, that was not as clean of a performance as I would have let them through. I think that I guess at some point when they're doing it 5 times and the dancers and the musicians are tired, they're like, okay, fine, you can go. That was,
Yeah.
the dance. You just don't know it on the beat, which is the name of the detour is to find the beat. If they have not found the beat, then you should not be passing through. But whatever, it's not me. It's not my detour.
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, at a certain point, it's like, look, there's already a bunch of traditional norms being broken here. I mean, I want to say it was Jas doing the woman's part, which was really interesting. Just like in general, this dance was a very interesting mix of like almost like traditional ballroom and then kind of a little bit of I wouldn't call it line dancing, but also I don't have a good experience in dance style, so I'd call it Ring Around the Rosie, which is not a great way to describe a traditional Romanian folk dance, and I do apologize to the people of Romania.
I mean, I did do a lot of kind of I'm from Texas. We did a lot of square dancing in elementary school, and there is a lot of that. I think we call it promenade whenever you do the walking around in a circle. And there is a part where all the female partners do get in a circle, and all the male partners are kind of on the outside, I guess, kind of clapping and kind of keeping the beat for them. So it's very similar. But I guess, I mean, if you're going to have these traditionally gendered dance segments, you have to tailor it to whatever. And I wasn't that worried about like, okay, this is the traditionally female part. I'm not expecting it to be that.
Oh yeah.
Lavish. I don't expect Jas to have like his foot just like perfectly like ladylike going. I'm like, no, I'm not going to expect that of him. But I do expect the beat to be found, and I did not find the beat. I'm going to die on this hill. So
they did while they were there. We're like, okay, so we've learned the dance, but we're not getting it. So no one else is here, so we're just gonna keep doing it. And it's just like 3, 4, 5 attempts is like, no, again, and everyone's like, yeah, great.
That's why I'm kind of like, if I was the person, I would not allow them through unless it was like really good, because I think the point is you're supposed to go back to practice and at least do it once, one full run through in practice, like maybe do some little segments, do the whole run through, and then come back. But if they're the only ones there, I mean, they took advantage of what they could, and good on them.
Yeah. So we see both members of we see both Tucker and Eric and Jas and Jag head off to the green hours. Jas, I can speak English tonight. My tongue hasn't fully twisted yet. Teams go ahead to the Green Hours Jazz and Theater Cafe to find a little meatsy sausage station that they have to go ahead and make sausages at as like just a little task.
So Jonathan was like really worried. He's like, uh-oh, it's the eating one. Like, I don't think I could do this, because a lot of times they have them eat stuff that is acquired tastes. I won't say they're disgusting, because they're usually local delicacies or local traditional foods, but they are usually acquired tastes. This is just spiced sausage. Like, this is something I think most people would have a taste for. So he was like, oh, that actually looks delicious. I'm so down for this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, can we, if me and Jonathan are ever on Amazing Race, can we please have food that is savory? Because like otherwise we're gonna lose, because Jonathan's not gonna want to eat anything that's disgusting. I'll eat whatever. If they throw a bug at me, I'll eat it. But he's gonna be like, I don't know, it needs to be something I'm not gonna throw up later.
So just out of curiosity, I did quickly look it up here. It is a little sausage containing grilled ground meat from a mixture of beef, lamb, pork, and then spices such as garlic, black pepper, thyme, coriander, anise, savory, sometimes a little bit of paprika, and then maybe some sodium bicarbonate and broth to give it some extra flavor. So in essence, sausage.
Yeah.
Like this is potentially the most like standard thing in terms of if you want to introduce an American to some type of cuisine, this is literally just a different type of like almost breakfast sausage for them.
Yeah, it's just not in a casing of any sort, which is what
Yeah.
we'd be used to in the States, is sausage that's been cased in a wrapping.
So from here, it's just simply square them up correctly, make sure they look good, present them to a grill master. Grill master says yes, eat to Missy, and then get out of there. Which, I mean, all of them were like, yay, lunch!
Yeah, I'm sure they're all starving. And I mean, when Adam gets there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sure he's like, he needs some fuel, some sugar in his body. So like, everybody was loving this.
I was gonna say, across this and the previous detour, this is where I was honestly like genuinely worried for Adam of like hey, are we about to have like a really bad medical emergency because Adam is pushing himself too hard? Like, they have a camera in the center of the dance circle at some point, and it's focused on Adam, and Adam looks like he's half there of like a just about to pass out kind of look, and I'm like, oh my god, are we about to lose him? Like, it's not good.
Yeah, I noticed it really early. Like I said earlier, in the egg, he had like this face of like he was like about to like pass out while he was getting up from the egg thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is really struggling, but he didn't want it to show. And I can understand that pressure when, I mean, I can understand from a larger like perspective of him and Joseph. Like Joseph is this, well-beloved reality TV star who's kind of, Superman and so nice and everything. And he doesn't want to be, just his brother who nobody really knows before the season. And he doesn't want to ruin the whole race for his brother just because of him. I get that pressure. And I wish he didn't have that pressure on him, because I feel like Joseph is more than happy just to have a great experience with his brother. But you could definitely see that was weighing heavy on Adam in this leg. And it was heartbreaking by the end of it. It really was.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it as many times as I need to. I mean, Joseph and Adam are genuinely just such amazing lights on this season. And it's awesome to have Palestinian representation on this show right now. Just period. But also, Adam has played such an amazing role of not only being a great racer, but also being like, hey, this is what type 1 diabetes looks like when you're doing a race like this. And like, these are the kind of precautions that I take as a day-to-day life, because I'll be honest, I don't really have a type 1 diabetic in my life. So this is really me seeing like, okay, this is what it looks like. This is what someone looks like when they're not like at their greatest. Kind of like, hey, if there's anything I can do to like help this kind of situation out. So it is awesome to see Adam here, and to unfortunately see Adam go like, I don't know if I'm letting him down because of my condition. That it like straight up broke me. I was like, I don't want to see him like so disheveled and putting himself down over something, one, he can't control, and two, that's not a problem.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I do have family members with diabetes, And there have been incidents where it's kind of, I vividly remember, like, it was a Thanksgiving dinner recently, and one of our family members, like, it was like a whole incident where we had to have like emergency services come in. They're fine today, don't worry about it. But like, it's very scary. They become very kind of non-responsive when it becomes past the point of not past the point of no return, but when it hits a critical mass in them. And so I was really worried for it, because I have a personal reference point for diabetes in my own personal family. So I was really, really worried for Adam in this episode. I'm glad that he is showing that, somebody with diabetes can conquer and do tough things. This is a tough, Amazing Race is a tough physical thing to do. And he's out here doing the damn thing and doing it really well. They're in the top 6. I think they can make finale night easy. They're a really, really great team. So I love that representation on you. I also want to say, like, I put it in my notes. I'm really, like, shout out to Adam and Joseph, who have been sporting. I know it's not like, I don't think it's like actually a keffiyeh, but it is very keffiyeh like pattern adjacent as like their bandanas. Yes. And so I really appreciate them showing solidarity with the Palestinian cause. And so, like, I have appreciated that. And I appreciated producers allowing them to show that nod to them, because that's important in these days.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll get into it as we get farther, but like, this is kind of a freak circumstance leg of 4 teams being very close in time, and then Adam just not being able to find a needle in a haystack, and everyone else just does it. And then one of the teams in the haystack, one of the teams in the fold can skip a task. One of the teams in the fold has a task that is literally built for them. And it's like they just get really unlucky. And we've seen that happen multiple times on the race, where all of the cards just kind of crumple for a team all at once. And I mean, not to jump ahead too much, but like, that's why I'm happy this particular leg is non-elimination, because like, this was just a circumstantial, you just couldn't figure out one thing, and so many other teams got so many advantages that you just shuffle down to the bottom, where you get another leg, you're going to be sorry again.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that we don't really see Adam's diabetic condition like ever really be the reason why they were in the situation they were. They're in the situation they were because it was a crapshoot roadblock, and they just got unlucky. At every other point, Adam pushed through and he performed well. There were no points where I was just like, oh, he really should be like, there were points where I was like, he should be like resting first before doing it, but he pushed through and still performed and still was able to meet the task at hand. So it was a storyline, but it's not the reason why Joseph and Adam came in last place in this leg. It really was, it came down to a crapshoot roadblock. And sadly, sometimes that's what happens on Amazing Race. There are crapshoot elements of this race.
Yeah. So just to quickly go through the other team that we really haven't mentioned at this point, Izzy and Paige are absolutely fine. They fly through this leg because they get a task that's pretty well suited to them. So they don't really have any issues. Jas and Jag, Tucker and Eric, Kylan and Taylor, we'll have one moment we'll talk about in a moment, because they obviously use their express pass and then go right to the sausages. Jack and Chelsea hit the same issue they've had this entire race. And that's not knowing how to do navigation at all. It's consistently like the one thing that is like destroying any chance of them making it near the top every leg.
Yeah, I have said for weeks now that I think I'm especially Jack, has like really been impressing me. Both of them been impressing me, but Jack specifically has been impressing me. He's been keeping up. He's now like by far and away the oldest member of the cast currently left, but he's been keeping up. Like it's not been an issue on physical capabilities. I think what we're seeing here is kind of a team, synergy breakdown between Jack and Chelsea. I think we see later in the episode they kind of have a breakthrough when they're talking with Phil at the mat, that they're starting to learn that they are father and daughter, but also in this situation they're two, like they said, they're two adults that are racing this race, and that there's more of an equal footing, and kind of learning to, I think he's kind of learning to see his daughter as an adult woman that, he's not his little girl anymore. Like she's grown up, and that's a new chapter of their relationship. And as somebody who, I'm in my 30s, but that was a transition that I had with my parents as well. Like going from, I was their baby son, I was the baby, to like now I'm in my 30s, like I'm an adult, and having to change that relationship. It really hit home with me. It was really relatable because I understand how that dynamic changes, and it's tough sometimes. It's tough sometimes to have somebody who is your child kind of having to talk to them in a different way than you ever had to before. And I think that's what Jack and Chelsea are trying to figure out, communicating with each other in a way that shouldn't be like parent to child. It should be, teammate to teammate.
Yeah. I mean, we see like almost a full complete breakdown on this leg where they are just like really pissed off at each other, not communicating well at all, going in the wrong direction for like 15 minutes walking. But I mean, yeah, as you mentioned, they kind of like it's the reason they're they're basically dead last up until the final step of this leg. But like they still have, it'll be interesting to see how they progress further post this leg. Unfortunately, I do feel like they still are not going to be in the strongest position moving forward, and they might still go home in 1 to 2 legs. But I want to see them at least try and improve it for a leg or two.
Yeah, unfortunately, like everything that all the praise that I just gave them, I still feel like they would be my pick for the next team to be eliminated, solely because this is just such a stacked cast at the top. All these teams are just performing so well together. All the other 5 teams, with exception of a small blip in Kyland and Taylor, and I guess we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it.
We will talk about it. Don't worry, we saw it too. But for the most part, all the other 5 teams, they're working like they're well-oiled machines. Like they are communicating well. They're not getting into needless fights all the time. Especially, I will say, all the other than Izzy and Paige, who are amazing, lovely. So I love seeing their relationship on the season. All the brothers have had these wonderful relationships with each other that we're just seeing like on the screen. And it's been really refreshing to see really healthy like dynamics between 2 brothers. That's not something we usually see on Amazing Race. Usually there's a little bit of a different dynamic, but it's been so refreshing to see 3 sets of brothers that are just lovely relationships, all 3 of them. And in that regard, going back to what I was originally saying, Jack and Chelsea are having communication issues, and if they can get through it, they can be fine. But I mean, it's do or die. Like I think that there is going to be an elimination next leg, I'm pretty sure. So they need to get that communication together, because every other team is just communicating far better than they have been in this race.
Well, most teams have been communicating better than they have, but we are very quickly starting to see a crack with Kyland and Taylor. They have a pretty good first roadblock and detour, and then they get to the sausages, and they both present them the first time, And Kylan's sausages are all good, and some of Taylor's aren't. And unfortunately, this does give Kylan the confidence to kind of be like, okay, Taylor, this is how you're going to do this. And like very much, I mean, obviously he didn't mean it as condescending, but it was extremely condescending in terms of communication. It was a nightmare.
You know, I will preface this by saying I understand that Kyland often gets like really invested in things that are going on. He said himself, like he gets really invested in the situation. And a lot of times when that happens, other sort of social niceties that he recognizes that he should be doing kind of go out the window when it's a high pressure situation and he's really focused on the task at hand. That being said, that does not give him the license to talk to Taylor the way that he did. I'm sorry, like he was patronizing her like she was like a child, and her just rolling her eyes. He's lucky that was the least that she did, because if somebody talked to me like that, it would be like, oh, we're losing this $1 million because I'm an Aries, I'm a fire sign, I will blow up. I'll just be like, you are not talking to me like this. This is not what's going on right now. Because I would have lost it. And you know what? Taylor is just, she takes it so well, because she's just like, eye rolls once and then just does the thing.
That is that lovely pageantry, like, I'm not here to deal with your bullshit. If I had free will, I would be punching you in the dick right now. I don't. You are currently tied to me, and I could win a lot of money. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to tell you that you're being really annoying later. But right now, I'm going to make this goddamn sausage.
Yeah. I love it. This is how she won Big Brother. This is how she won Big Brother. And she's showing it here too, that she's willing to put up with some bullshit to win this $1 million. And you know what? Go off, Taylor. You were the bigger person in this situation. And she played it off well. She got annoyed for a little bit, which understandably so, but then she's just like, okay, let's just focus on this thing, and then I can get pissed at you later when this leg is over.
Basically, I mean, it was very much a okay. We'll deal with this problem later.
I'm also going to say there's some shadiness from production. Like there's all of these moments where Joseph and Taylor are like flirting with each other. And all the moments we're seeing of Kyland and Taylor are like
very much
fraught. They are very like tense. They're not very romantic. Sure, they call each other babe, but whenever they're like having conversations, a lot of times it's just like laced with this sort of like tension. Maybe, I mean, they're not together anymore, Kyland and Taylor. Together. So maybe production saw something in the moment that they're like, let's get out ahead of this, because this ship is not sailing for long.
Yeah, no, very clearly the editors in the Bay were Jailer fans, and they were like, yep, okay, how quickly can we get this moving on? We wanted Taylor, and we got Kyland. So that is where we're at.
That's true. Kyland was an alternate, right?
Yeah, Kylan was a last minute alternate when Taylor's partner had to drop out last second. So... And it doesn't surprise me that Kylan could drop things and just go do this. So that was not meant to be as shady as I said it.
Go off, Jack. Go off.
that was very much a like, Kylan is in a position in his career where he can do this. And that's impressive. But like, also, he can drop shit and just go on an amazing race for 30 days. And honestly, I wish I could get to that point in my life.
I mean, if we got cast, I'd be like, I will make it happen. Like, you only get to go on this once. Like a job, it may take a little bit, but I'll find a job afterwards. It's fine.
It's a difference between like, okay, I know I'm deep in the casting finals for this, and oh, I just got a call from a producer like 30 seconds ago that I need to be here. Okay, notice. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do that. Not at my current job.
Well, sometimes it comes with winners. Like, was it Earl? I think in Survivor Fiji was.
Oh yeah.
He was given a weekend notice before Survivor, and he won $1 million. So
that's still insane.
yeah.
Like, I've played LRGs that have still been like, okay, look, I need 1, 2, 3 months notice. Like, I can't drop my stuff that quickly, but like, damn.
A weekend. It was like the Friday, and then the next like Monday, they're like, oh, you're flying out to Fiji.
No. Far too fucking fast for me. But we do head to the Mogosoya Palace for check-in this week. And unsurprising, I mean, we had a little bit of like Tucker and Eric were a little bit in front at the sausage, but yeah, Jag and Jas, because they got to skip a challenge this leg, were in a really good position and just claimed first. I mean, a really impressive showing from them. They get a trip to Bermuda. It's very nice. It's very beautiful.
Jealous. It looks beautiful. It looks so nice.
And then right after, we do have Tucker and Eric, who were literally right behind them the entire leg. No surprises there. Afterwards, Kyland and Taylor, who did use their Express Pass, basically strategized the leg perfectly and got through. No problem there. Then Izzy and Paige, who successfully got the task they were hoping for and then fluted their way to victory. And then we kind of have an interesting turnout between Jack and Chelsea and Joseph and Adam. It seems like for a moment that Joseph and Adam might take them over, that Jack and Chelsea are going to have like some major navigational issues. And then Jack and Chelsea get in a cab and we know it's over.
Yeah. I was, when they got those Mises like thumbs up, which let's get pictures of the teams that when the last few teams that got like thumbs up to like the first few batches that were brought, because I'm sure the standards fell quite a lot. I'm sure the producers went up to the guy and they're like, hey, can you like just let them through? Like we need to let these teams through.
We have early morning flights they need to catch, and like if you keep them here for another 2 hours, they will not catch said flights. Like, please. But Jack and Chelsea managed to make it to the palace first, meaning that our last place team is Joseph and Adam for this leg. But thankfully, this leg is a non-elimination leg, meaning both teams are through to the next round. Interestingly, it wasn't stated specifically that it was a speed bump that Joseph and Adam would have to take on. It was just stated like, you will have some sort of additional hardship that you have to deal with on this next leg, like as vague of terms as possible. I'm not sure if it's going to be like something akin to the starting line task that they had for Enzo and like Enzo and Jack during the first leg, where they had like, I don't even remember what it was called. It was something weird. Oh, a hazard.
They had the little tandem bike thing, little sidecar bike,
where it was like a speed bump, but it also gave them a different way to complete a task. So it was like a weird mix. And honestly, I'd be happy if we get some interesting weird mix on this next leg. So
it's Interesting. This is the first non-elimination leg of the season, which it feels really late for a non-elimination leg. Is this the latest that we've had one?
I think we have had a non-elimination leg before at like Final Four and just made it a Final Four finale. I
Okay.
think we've done that before a couple times, or like instead of doing like a full Final Four, Final Three leg, they save everyone at Final Four, and then like halfway through the last leg, they chop the last place team. Like we've seen that a couple times, so
Okay.
it is relatively late though. You're not wrong.
I feel like in
am
recent
curious.
seasons, they've had non-elimination legs like in the first 3 or 4 legs, usually in the last few seasons. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, I will say notably, last season the final 5 was a non-elimination at first. So we have had later. I guess it just feels like because it's a lot more rare now for them to do non-elimination legs, and they're all basically from when COVID on started, they were like last place will be eliminated. Now it's like, oh, wow, no, we're getting non-eliminations late. Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, next week we're going to Greece. Which, yay!
It's gonna be fun. We're now getting into I will give Amazing Race their flowers. They've done a lot of Eastern European countries that I think a lot of Americans aren't that exposed to unless they have a personal tie to Eastern Europe. It's not something that we really know by knowledge base, but now we're getting into Greece, Italy, France. These are the countries that we would have been like taught about, but Eastern European countries, sadly our education system doesn't really teach us much about Eastern Europe. It's mostly Western Europe. So It was nice that the majority of the season has been in Eastern European cultures. I've enjoyed that.
Yeah, I mean, we very much gone to the countries that the US just doesn't talk about at all. Like we always know the Italy and the France and the UK and the Belgium. Well, even the Belgium is kind of like bleeding a little bit off. Like we know Germany and Greece and all that, but like we're getting very, very nice countries and very nice cultures that we haven't seen on the race. And what we also haven't seen on the race very recently, well, I mean, we saw it last season, a double U-turn vote live. Jesus Christ, at Final 6? Y'all are monsters.
This is going to be great. I love this. I need some hardship. I love Tucker and Eric. I love Jag and Jess, but I need some hardship. Some hardship. If these teams know what's what, they really, really need to just pile it on them. All the other 4 teams, there's 4 of them. And then there's 2 easy targets who have been first and second all race long, except for like maybe 1 leg. But other than that, they've been first or second. You need to go after these 2 teams. Like there's only 3 spots in the finale. So if both those 2 teams are still here, that's only 1 spot for you. This is the time to take a shot, y'all. Come on.
So realistically, Jas and Jag should be voting for Tucker and Eric. Tucker and Eric vote for Jas and Jag. That should be the case. But also I can see Jas and Jag pettily voting or trying to get the vote on Izzy and Paige. Like, there's a lot of options here, especially because it's the top 2 teams with 6 teams voting. Literally, it could be 2 votes. And that's what gets a team a U-turn. Like, it is crazy close. And we already get told through the preview, there's going to be a tie, which my guess is it's going to be an accidental like 3-1-1-1 scenario or something similar where everyone just goes, oh, we have fucked up.
Yeah.
But I mean, this cast is smart strategically. It wouldn't
Yeah.
shock me if they make the right decision.
They're not going to pull the Suri, the 3-2-1 vote split. um, that would be iconic. But I agree. I think that there's going to be something crazy like that where there might not be as much like strategizing with people outside of the going after the top teams.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to note, we started with 3 winners and we still have all 3 winners still accounted for. And that is pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it is genuinely just. I mean, they're kind of showing why they won. We now have like we have such interesting teams of like social people who won their season, comp beasts, and then this is not meant to be disparaging, but it kind of will sound like it. Izzy and Paige are very much the outliers, but like they've also shown why they're good at this race, and it's because they can do all of the art and fine precision tasks, and they also communicate really well.
Well, let's be honest, and Izzy will be the first to say this. She was a lot of things on Survivor 25. I don't think like top tier strategy and good Big Brother gameplay. I think even she would say, yeah, that was not among my highlights on Big Brother 25. I love Izzy. Izzy's amazing. I loved every second that I saw her on Big Brother, and I'm loving every second I see her on Amazing Race. But I don't love I'm not loving Izzy because she had top tier gameplay. I love Izzy because she was herself and just unapologetically herself inside the house and here on Amazing Race. So I'm so happy that she's here. I'm so happy that they're thriving. I'm so happy they had a great leg and they have a shot. They are close. They are one placement off of a finale spot. So,
yeah. But that is where we end our journey this week. We have a little bit of delay of flight to get to Greece, so to wait a little. But Mike, thank you so much for doing this with me once again. It really is
great.
The world.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I didn't even intend it. It only crossed my mind like 2 seconds after.
Well, this season, it's always Europe.
It really means Europe.
It's just Europe.
But if you want to catch our coverage of next week's lovely, probably drama-filled episode of The Amazing Race, you can always feel free to hang out right here if you hit that subscribe button right below us. While you're there, just hit the like button as well. It's like a little bit over to the right, and it just like it glows really nicely when you touch it. In addition, if you like Survivor, Amazing Race, Big Brother, let's see, Survivor Australia, we're covering Fear Factor, House of Fear when it comes out, Dancing with the Stars, any of that sounds interesting, you can always hang out with us here. You are absolutely welcome. Thank you for hanging out with us for so long. We are also so goddamn grateful they were saved. In addition, you can also follow us at our drag channel and ESC channels, along with finding our audio podcast links and where you can get your merch in the description below. You can also follow us at the social media handles that have been scrolling on the bottom the whole time, and to get your merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link is in the description below and also above Mike's head. I'm trying to figure out which way I am, but
it's mirrored. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it still messes with me, and I've had it for what, like 6-10 months at this point. Who knows?
Yeah.
But thank y'all so much for being here tonight. We'll hope to see you on another trip around Europe. And with that said, if you're still here, go watch your Destination X coverage, because, I mean, if you're going to like this show, you're going to like that one. So we'll see you very, very soon. Cheers!
Yeah.